Hi, Marshal, Daphne here. Thank you so much for sending in your next essays. Well done. You're doing really, really well. And I'm glad the email was helpful. Yeah, some of those podcasts are quite long on the grammar, but well done and good work to underline them here so we can see what's happening. So nowadays, a few people take their family with them abroad. To what extent do you support this development? With the advent of globalization, more and more companies now have an international base, consequently requiring their employees to travel all over the world to attend meetings and events. I love that. You don't need to put a full stop there, just keep going because this is kind of logical progression of your ideas. There we go. So I just put a comma there. To compensate for missing family time, some workers have resorted to lovely and ing. That is the important bit. So excellent. Oh, taking their loved ones along with them to these endeavours. An endeavour is something that you try really hard to. I would say on rather than to. So on these endeavour is, I know what you mean, endeavour is work, but endeavour is if I'm struggling to do something and I'm finding it really difficult. So on these missions is possible, maybe not great. On these let me think. It's not really adventures, is it? On these, yeah, try missions. And let me think about that one. Though there are obvious benefits to traveling together as a family unit, such as having more bonding time, there are certainly drawbacks to this practice. Fantastic. I love that. Really, really strong intro. Good work. Although traveling abroad, see, this is very nice as well. This is a lovely grammar. It's common these days. The psychological effects of parents constantly being away from their children due to jobs tends to be overlooked. This is excellent. I'm just underlining here all your fab grammar. And this is a passive infinitive, so excellent work there. See? Really good. Most children still approach the departure of their loved one with trepidation. Absolutely. This in turn translates. Now here I would put could. Remember my modal verbs I go on and on about. Could translate into feelings of neglect and abandonment. If children had the opportunity to travel with their parents for work, this not only now watch out on your conditional. Now, if they had, so you've got past simple, so you're going into a second conditional. If they had the opportunity to travel with their parents, I don't think you need to repeat that because we know that. You've kind of introduced this. This is to do with a coherence and sometimes don't repeat. So to travel with their parents or accompany their parents, I think might be better actually to changing the verbs. Accompany their parents. This would, now watch out, this is the other part of your conditional. Okay, here's your past simple, okay, and here is your would, and then your infinitive. Not only provide them, that's super important, that structure there. So you've got, in this grammar, so you've got your second conditional. If they had the opportunity, they would. So past tense, would, infinitive. Provide them with a sense of being wanted, but also give. So on your conditional structure here, you're still with the infinitive. So that it goes. So would not only provide infinitive, but give. Also give ample opportunity for quality time sightseeing and enjoying the foreign country together. Lovely, good. In fact, recent pediatric research studies have shown that most children who accompany their parents, you've got accompany, sorry, remain with them, their parents' job-related journeys, develop better self-confidence, sense of security and trust within the family in comparison to those who stay behind. Really nice. Better self-confidence is stronger. You could put in, just for a comparative, adjective there. Okay, this is really, really nice, Marshal. This is, I can see how hard you've worked here and you've kind of gone up a level. This is really looking good. However, traveling together as a family to attend business events is not always practical. Now, because you've got the negative here, you don't want to have both not always practical, either financially or academically. So either or, use that instead. Either or. To start off with, airline tickets are not always cheap. Okay, absolutely not. So, are not always cheap because they're not always affordable, especially when to a different continent. Moreover, hotel and food bills can add up to. Now, this is what we said about watch out for the phrasal verbs. Add up to is too informal. So again, instead of cheap, I would have affordable, or accessible is quite a nice one, and add up to. So you can have just a total, an exorbitant amount, or sorry, exorbitant amounts, rendering such trips unaffordable for the average employee. Oh, sorry, you've got unaffordable. Go accessible. Okay, so if you see yourself writing like a kind of more basic word, try and change it. Furthermore, without a valid reason such as medical illnesses, most schools will not permit absences from class. Good. Institutions frequently stipulate consequences like detention or even expulsion if attendance levels are not met. Good point. Therefore, such trips, you don't need to. You could repeat that, but again, such disruptions involving students in full now. So preventing students or interrupting students' full-time education may hinder a child's academic progression or progress. Yeah, again, lovely paragraph. Really, really good here. To conclude, even though there may be financial drawbacks and inconveniences, yeah, you see, you don't need to repeat that. This is all about the coherence, which is really subtle. So sometimes you just have to leave things out rather than put them back in. I know you're relating it back to the title for me, but I don't need it because you've said it so many times. This is just slowing me down. So I want to go. Inconveniences of academic timetables, provided that these hurdles can be overcome. Commas here. For example, by budgeting and travelling on non-school days, I believe this trend is not only beneficial, but also strengthens the relationship within the family. So not only beneficial, but also only beneficial, but also. But now you should put the it here, but it also strengthens. Yeah, not only beneficial, also strengthens. I don't think you need it at all. So not only, but also. So that's your nice grammar there. It also strengthens the relationship within the family. As these benefits become more conspicuous, a fab word, predicts that more families will opt together. Opt to, yes, or opt to take advantage. Just simply as simple as that. Yeah. So think about sometimes leaving out words. Again, yeah. Think about leaving out, not always putting back in. Okay, this is it's makes you feel a bit scared doing that, but try it. Okay, see how it goes. Very, very nice there. Okay, crazy rainfall graph. I like this. There's no pattern. The line graph depicts the amount of rainfall, 3 different regions. England and Scotland started the year having more rain than Wales, magnitude around 100. In January for the former 2 and just under 50 for the latter. Excellent. Surprisingly, no comment. Okay, no personal comment. It might not be surprising. Scotland dried up significantly in the following month, having 4 times less than the previous, while England's rain levels remained the same in February. In contrast, it showered more in Wales in February, increasing levels to around 75 that month. Okay. Yes, I quite like that. It showered more. A shower is more like for the bathroom. I mean, as a verb. Um, shower, rain. I think you'd have to say Wales experienced wetter patterns or wetter weather or wetter conditions maybe in February. Okay, I kind of want that to work, but I'm not convinced it does. Rain levels in all three areas followed an unsteady pattern. However, the wettest time in England was in July, where both countries saw up to, yep, whereas Scotland had wet peaks. Okay, in March and October, also having an average of 130 per month. On the other hand, June was the driest. Excellent. This is really, really nice. Been very like Chaz. Yes, good. Despite fluctuations, England seems to be the wettest of the three, averaging about 100 millilitres of rain a month. Moreover, this rain at the beginning of the year concluded to similar levels by the end. Concluded at similar levels rather than to. Oh, sorry, at similar levels. I mean, wet. Go dampest, just as a change. Okay. But I really, really like that answer. That would score very well. You've got really good, obviously, you've got good work on the tenses. You've managed to put in some variation on the grammar here. You've got lovely vocabulary, all the superlatives we want, the comparatives, and most important for me is that the grouping and comparing is very strong. Well done, well done, well done. You've got, I think, a little bit more on the course. I think. But yes, get an extra essay pack. It is definitely worth it. I will prioritize your corrections and we'll get you through by Friday. I think but you're doing so well. If you feel super happy, don't worry. But I think to keep going next week would just give you that speed and that confidence. And obviously happy to work with you. Well done.